Hey guys, I'm Dave and welcome to the Trull Gallery. Today, we're going to make something to hold my headphones. If you guys are like me, your desk can get cluttered from time to time. And to be fair, it hasn't looked this good in a while. But one of the things I have to deal with is I have headphones that I use when I edit videos and there's no place to put them. Sometimes I end up on a shelf over there, shelf over here, or thrown on the CPU. There's got to be a better way to deal with this. And I have two ideas, and I'm not sure which way to go, so why don't we make them both? My first thought was to start with a sketch on paper, but I quickly decided that'd just be an extra step. I decided to draw it out on some half-inch scrap ply that could later be used as a template. I started by drawing a semicircle on the ply, but the headband isn't a semicircle. After a bit of head scratching, I adjusted my compass and added 2 arcs to the first curve, and that matched the headphones much better. After cutting out that pattern, I dug through the scrap bin and found some 2-inch thick ash. I drew the outline on the pattern, then cut 2 of those out at the bandsaw. I took my time and stayed as close to my line as I could to make the cleanup easier in the next step. A bit of double stick tape and I secured the pattern to my ash blank, making sure that the ash overhung the pattern everywhere except the bottom. I put a pattern cutting bit in my router table and made my first pass to clean up the shape. The bit was raised and I made a second pass. The pattern was pulled off and the tape cleaned off, and the bit was adjusted for a third pass. This time the bearing will register off the newly cleaned up edge from the first 2 passes. That was as deep as I could go with that bit, so I switched over to a bit with the bearing on the other end. Since I was removing so little stock, the rest of the curve was cleaned up on that pass. My blanks looked a bit chunky, so I set up my miter saw for a random angle that looked good and trimmed both corners. The stop block that I clamped there ensured the 2 sides were even. These cuts also meant there was enough room for the headphones to sit in place and only contact the ash on the headband. I made a second blank that was about 1 inch larger than the first, then traced that out on some half-inch ash. Those were cut out on the bandsaw and cleaned up at the router table like the first parts. This is where the 2 designs begin to differ. For the hanging style, I wanted to sit about 1 inch below the underside of my desk, so I milled up a piece of half-inch stock that was 2 inches wide and 1 inch longer than the back is tall. The 2 pilot holes were drilled in the back, and I was about to drill the mounting holes into the body of the holder when I realized the top hole was too high, and all but the shortest of fasteners would blow through the face and show. I adjusted on the fly and drilled a new lower hole. A screw held the hanger in place while I squared it to the bottom and drilled a pilot hole there as well. I know that extra hole will be in the back under my desk, but I thought I should plug it regardless. After putting a 3/8 inch plug cutter in my drill press and finding a bit of ash with similar grain patterns, I drilled the plug. I popped it out and it was glued in place. Just make sure to align the grain as best you can. The excess glue was wiped away before trimming the plug with a flush cutting saw. Even before sanding, the repair blends in pretty well. I don't want the headphones to fall off the holder, so I'll add a front piece to help with that. I started by drawing the shape of the original curve on some 1/4 inch ash. Then I added a 2-inch wide tab at the top. I cut a bit of stock so it was 1/2 inch wide and used that to trace the curve of the arc. It may not be perfect, but it's pretty close. And this was the same method I used to extend that backing piece so it was 1 inch wider. Those were cut out at the bandsaw, and I'll clean up the shape shortly. I covered the face of the centerpiece with glue and clamped it and the front piece together. Just make sure that the front piece overhangs the centerpiece while they're assembled. When the glue dried, it was back to the router table to clean up the excess. I took care to stay clear of that front tab, then came back and sanded it smooth by hand. Some 120 grit paper around an aluminum 1/4 inch dowel did a great job and left me with a curve where the tab meets the base. To clean up the square edge of the tab, I used a flat bit of maple with some sandpaper, and when I was happy with that, I went over everything one more time with my random orbit sander. This made quick work of any cross-grain marks from the hand sanding. I swapped the bit in my router table for an 1/8 inch roundover and eased the edge of the entire front face. While I was here, I did the same for the rear face. I had marked the areas that shouldn't be rounded and stayed clear of those while I was working. That might make more sense later. Finally, the hanger got cleaned up as well, again staying clear of areas that would look better left square. It's starting to look like what I planned. It was time to add the back to the centerpiece. These were glued and screwed, and I decided at the last minute to split my assembly. Rather than try to juggle the 3 pieces and 2 screws, I used washer head screws to hold the center and back together. A few clamps made the assembly a bit more secure. I'll add the hanger once the glue has had time to dry. Did I mention that I have no plans, just an idea in my head? This piece was not part of the original design. This is basically a return that I'll connect with the hanger. It may be overkill, but I'll connect them with 2 1/4 inch dowels. Clamping and drilling at the drill press ensures that these first holes stay square to the piece. I set a dowel point in each hole and clamped a few reference stops to my bench. Now I can set my pieces in place against the stops and give the return a tap with my mallet. I know exactly where to drill the 2 mating holes. I reset the depth stop on my drill press so I don't blow through the front and drill those 2 holes. And look how well that repair blended in. A bit of glue along the joint and a bit on each dowel, and they're set into the shallow holes. More glue on top of the dowels and the return is tapped in place. The excess glue is wiped off, and I used an angle bracket to help hold things square while I finished clamping it together. With the glue dry, it's time to locate the holes for the angle bracket. It was clamped in place and I made sure it was centered on the hanging assembly. Then I used a self-centering Vicks bit to mark the holes. These will be through holes, but right now I'm just marking their locations. It's a tight space and the clamps had to be moved repeatedly, but I got all 6 marked out. I came back with an 1/8 inch brad point bit to drill the through holes. Well, the 2 I could reach. Did I mention this was a tight space? To get the inner holes, I got out my 12 inch long brad point bit. Yes, it's overkill, but it's what I have. I thought for sure I had a 6 inch set, but I have no idea where they are. These long bits can be a bit wobbly, so I used some scrap pine as a drill guide and drilled out those remaining inner holes. The tape on the bit lets me know that I've drilled through the ash and into my sacrificial stock below. I took the assembly back to the drill press, set it on a scrap of pine, and drilled out the holes in the return to match the holes in the bracket, in this case 11/64. This is where the assembly will be attached to my desk, and the return allows me to secure the unit in place with larger screws without risking holes in my desktop. The holes in the hanger stayed at 1/8 of an inch. It's time to complete this assembly. I used 2 number 8 by 2 inch screws to hold the hanger assembly to the rest of the unit. The angle bracket was set in place, and that hole I patched earlier, well, it's hidden by the bracket. Remember when I was at the router table and I left some areas square? Well, it's time to clean up those last bits and blend them in. While I'm at it, I'll give all the parts one last sanding to smooth any router marks and check for any sharp edges. With that done, the first holder is ready for finish. Moving to the desktop version, I milled up an ash blank that was 1.5 inches square and 9 inches long for the leg. I want to notch it to hold the curved portion, so I got out my tenoning jig, set my fence to leave half of the leg, and raised the blade to full height. After verifying that everything was set just right, I made a through pass. I swapped my tenoning jig for my miter gauge, lowered the blade, and snuck up on my line to cut the shoulder. The leg looked too chunky, so I clamped my shallow angle jig to my miter saw, clamped the leg to the jig, and set the blade angle to about 15 degrees. This jig and the clamps are a safe way to make what would otherwise be a very sketchy cut. I laid out 2 mounting holes on the back leg and drilled them at the drill press. The piece of poplar under the cut prevents the stock from dipping while I drill the holes. While the second hole is on the angled face, it's still square to the interface of the leg. I went back to the router table where I eased over any edges that will be exposed. The curved portion of this headphone holder was assembled with its counterpart for the hanging version, and now that the leg is complete, the foot is the only thing left to create. After a couple of sketches, I settled on the layout on the left-hand side. I cut that half out and cleaned up all the curves. On another piece of scrap, I drew a center line and traced a new pattern on either side for a mirror image. After cutting the full pattern out, I glued up some book-matched 1/2 inch ash and drew a center line along the grain and 2 reference marks across the grain. The pattern was set in place, my reference marks lined up, and I traced the outline on the blank. Then I added 2 lines to remind me not to cut too close to the points, which will make sense later. I picked this orientation because I like the way the grain flows out from the center line, much like the front feet sweep out. The blank was cut out at the bandsaw like before, then I added some double stick tape and secured the pattern to it. Once I was happy with the location, I pressed it in place and took it back to the router table. The pattern bit did a nice job cleaning up my bandsaw marks, and here you can see that I let the router bit ease the inside corners, rather than going with the sharp points I had drawn. After some sanding to smooth everything out, it was back to the router table and that 1/8 inch roundover bit. I just rounded over the top face, except for the areas where the leg will sit. Again, I stopped routing at my layout lines. I pre-drilled 2 countersunk mounting holes on the feet, and now I could mark the leg. I drilled the pilot holes with an 1/8 inch brad point bit. I started the first screw, set it in place over the first hole to get it located properly, and then I drove in the second screw before tightening the first one in place. Now to find out if it stands. More importantly, if it'll stand with the headphones on top. Time for more sanding. This time it was to clean up those roundovers and blend them where they meet the leg and between the feet. I'll save you from watching me sand everything over and over again, just know that it happened. Once the curves and roundovers were cleaned up, I disassembled the feet and gave everything one more sanding with my random orbit sander using 180 grit paper. After 35 years in business, I figured it was finally time to start marking my work. I had purchased a branding iron and marked both of these stands. I haven't used a branding iron like this in something like 25 years, and I think I need a bit more practice. A little sanding and the excess burn marks were cleaned away. The leg was reattached to the curved portion with 2 screws, and then the foot was added to the leg. And these guys are ready to finish. I used a 2-part hard wax finish, and I'd like to say that I mixed just enough to do the job. In reality, it was the last of the finish I had on hand. I applied it with a white 3M abrasive pad, making sure to work the oil into the grain and all the nooks and crannies. The gloves keep your hand from smelling like oil for days. Once both pieces were fully coated, I set them aside to dry for about 5 minutes, and yes, I still had some finish to spare. I came back and wiped off the excess oil with a clean rag. Gloves would still be a good idea, I just forgot. After a few minutes, both units were basically dry to the touch and set aside to fully dry overnight. The last step is to mount the hanging unit to the underside of my desk. First I added that black bracket to the hanger with some 1-inch screws. I wanted it to sit back from the edge, but I didn't do much fancy layout. The rear screw went in first, then I squared it to the edge before driving in the other 2 screws. 1.25 inch long washer head screws were just the right length and did not penetrate the top of my desk. I'm pretty sure this is the one I'll keep. Now I just have to figure out what to do with the cord. I think these came out great, and will certainly take care of my headphone storage problem. The desktop version could use some felt feet, and as soon as I figure out where I put them, I'll add them to it. And considering I had no real plan and just an idea in my head, these came together in just about a day or so. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this video. Was this something I could have done easier, smarter, safer? Drop them in the comments below. As usual, I'll add some links to some of the tools and equipment I used during this build, and some of them have affiliate links, so should you happen to need one of those things, purchase it through those links. It does help keep this channel going. If you enjoyed this video, maybe give us a thumbs up and share it with friends. If you haven't already, maybe it's time to hit that subscribe button and the little bell so you get notified each time I put out a new video. I've still got a few videos in limbo, so I have no idea what's coming up next, but it should be something interesting. So until then, have a great day, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.